always looking at the time. I do have to go to work tomorrow. This upload though is about a 2016 movie called The Witch, and it is my final uh, submission towards my own. I don't know why I'm making it seem so official, but I decided to make 4 videos around what I call the Mount Rushmore of horror. This is the last entry, and of course, just happens coincidentally to be the newest film. Um, like the other ones, I feel like this has broken the mold as far as horror is concerned. I don't think it was the first film uh, to not depend heavily on jump scares and in more simple slasher type. Um, my dog found something. Cut it out. In more simple slasher type uh, ideas and setups. It had a great. I had a great thought. It draws. It draws from an individual's logic and causes the. It draws from an individual's logic and causes the viewer to start second guessing himself. Like you see something unfold and you say, "Oh, that can actually happen," and then you're saying to yourself, "This is what I was doing." I'm saying to myself, "No, no, it can't happen. No way." But as that's happening, the movies continue to unfold. So it takes place in the early Americas. I want to say I didn't see a day at the beginning of the movie, but I feel like it takes place in like the 1600s or something like that, early 1600s. So you see all those characters in the beginning of the movie. Uh, all these clothing that you see in pictures and things like that in history books. So you have pilgrims, you have Native Americans, you have Spaniards. You have a lot of the people. Well, I guess it would be Portuguese. Would it be Spanish? I don't know. You have a lot of the earlier settlers of the Americas, and it follows a family who basically they're kicked out of the settlement for not following the rules, much as I can gather. Oh, and one thing before I forget, they have decided to have the characters speak in the language that was prevalent during that time. So it was a lot of uh, these and thous and stuff like that in there, which I think added a whole level of complexity to the film, which leaves you, well, I wouldn't say confused because you can still enjoy the movie and understand what's going on, but you have to look at the subtitles. I feel like, um, but it just it adds another element to it that leaves you uh, kind of floating out of no man's land. Basically, it helps it helps create that and make that feeling stronger for me anyway. Um, so there's a mother and a father, and they have 5 children, if I'm not mistaken. The oldest is a girl, and then the second oldest is a boy, and then there's 2 twins, a girl and a boy. Then there's a younger boy, so it's 5 kids. Now, everybody in the family starts to everybody in the family starts to get killed off one by one. Um, but I will say this: um, they get killed off in interesting ways, which I've decided just not to say how they get killed off because I think it's gonna take away some pizzazz from the movie if you're watching it and you watch this first and then you go, oh yeah, I remember this is how this. Okay, I'm waiting to see how he's gonna kill. Oh yeah, oh yeah, he was right. No, it'd be better if you watch it. You go, oh my god, that's what needs to happen. Um, where was I going with this? 5 kids, mother, father. Oh, I was gonna say, I feel like they do die, and each of them does get killed, and I guess or dies in a bit of a like movie type way. I could say that, but I feel realistically, all their deaths could stem from starvation and isolation and traumatic events. I feel like those three those three things could lead to any one of those deaths. So, for instance, the first one to go is the smallest child. I guess I shouldn't be saying that, but um, basically disappears. Now, it's not like they're camping in 2021. They're they're in the middle of the wilderness in the 1600s in a basically virgin land, and there's plenty of things that could just come up and taking that child. So that makes sense. The next one to go is the young boy who is who is who's been gripped by his natural. How should I put this? He's been gripped by his natural desires, natural lustful desires, but they're isolated. The only people out there is his older sister, so he falls for her. If an individual is heavy in the church as he is, of course, he's going to be torn by that, and he might succumb to that. That makes sense to me. And then the next one to go after that, I think is there's an incident with the mother, but then the father goes. Now I think his makes the most sense. He's gored to death by a goat, Black Phillip, which I think I've heard that before somewhere else. I don't know. I tried to look that up to see if the writer actually got that from a actual like a pre-existing story. I think he came up with that idea. But I think that black animals have always had some type of negative negative mojo attached to them. So you have the father, and then I choose to withhold what happens to the mother, and also what happens to the only survivor. But I guess you can, if you listen this far, you can guess who's the only survivor is. I have to. Again, I have to. I don't think I did that many reviews or reactions on this particular channel, but I have been doing reviews for a while. Took a little break. I think I may have even reviewed this movie before, but just in a different platform. So, I have to say, child actors have actually stepped up. And I've watched several movies in the past years where the child actor actually outacts the adult, which I have to say is sad. I mean, you have an adult who's basically given a good portion. They had to have given a good portion of their life to create some type of craft, and they're getting outworked by a child. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But I mean, that's not the case in this movie. Don't get me wrong; it's not the case in this movie. But I'm saying the child actors, they held their own. They were equally as creepy as the adult actors. I mean, everything about this movie, from the music, the setting, the clothes, the facial expressions, everything about this movie was creepy. I mean, but I think that's what horror is supposed to be. I'm supposed to be not only scared, but also mentally stimulated. I feel at the same time, which just it's like a complete recipe. It's not. It's like if you watching a slasher film that only focuses on like the gore or something like that. It's like, okay, if you're having dinner, I'm only having meat tonight. It's like, what do you mean? You need to have something to go with the meat, right? It's like, you would want that. And that's what I think this movie provides. It gives you a complete meal. I don't know why I would jump straight to, yeah, I got boxes in the background. I don't know why I would jump straight to food. Maybe because I'm going vegetarian tomorrow. But anyway, yeah, the movie is I hadn't watched it in a while, and I think I brought this point up before. You watch a movie, and you may not watch it for a couple years or even a couple months, but when you watch it again, it's like watching with a whole new set of eyes. Especially if you yourself have uh, uh, um, grown in that time. It's like it was a complete shock to me. I have forgot most of the stuff that happened in this movie as I'm rewatching it, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe it. Um, I think I did mention that they used the speak or not to speak. They used the language at the time, but it's still English, but it replaced different words and like the position of some of the words that are switched up. But I feel like that. I think I said this, but I feel like that adds a lot to the movie because along with you have that, you have the setting, you have the clothes, you even have the the appearance of the actors. I mean, not as far as what they're wearing, but their faces. It just it makes for great viewing, and I think it's definitely earned a spot, the fourth spot. And actually, I want to put it number one above even in the movies that came before it because I love the way that it's taking horror as far as films are concerned. They're not they're treating the audience like they are educated and not just wanting to see some nudity and some gore. I mean, that has its place, of course, but this movie doesn't need that in order to be scary. Um, Movies like It Follows and A Quiet Place and even Heredity, I think, uh, borrow some of those same ideas as this movie. But this one to me just stands out because of its uniqueness and the fact that it's pretty much a period piece, but not necessarily. Pretty much. Really good.